Bent started combining back in 1949. Him and his dad bought their second self-propelled combine that come into the Treasure Valley, the John Deere. And the combines have been in our family ever since. We've run them for every year since then.
I ended up over in Blackfoot for 10 years. That's where, in fact, where Joe was born, was over at Blackfoot. And then when we come back over here, I was working for the state police for, well, 20 years, but I had a combine there most all of those years. I'd store up all my vacation and comp time and run that combine during the summer to kind of help pay out. That state police wasn't paying too good. And that kind of helped out. And then after we got back over here, I bought the 95 that my dad had. Joe was 12 years old by then, and went over there to Charlie Mann's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Parma, and that's where he started running it.
I started running that one, helping him through the summer. You know, of course, I was just a kid and learning.
One of the stories that I keep remembering about Joe running that combine, we was over there on a field, and I had him going around the field, and pretty soon he just turned around and started cutting back to the pickup. And I said, "Well, what'd you do that for?" Well, he said, "I'm hungry." Of course, that's just one of the stories of when he was young doing it. And when he got a little bit older, we decided to buy another combine. I'd quit the state police and bought another combine and run so he could have one to run and I run one together.
And then eventually, you know, we ended up buying more and more, and we run up to 5 combines, Dad and I did, for years. And when we got to running 3 to 5 machines, we would start out here at Orchard south of Boise doing dryland grain, and we'd cut on that. And then when that'd get done, this here was getting ready right here in the Treasure Valley, and we would do that. And about the time we got done with the grain here, the grain over in eastern Idaho, that's a higher altitude over around Du Bois and Blackfoot area, we'd go over there and that grain would just be starting. So we'd cut there, and then in mid-season of that harvest, we'd pull 2 to 3 machines out and take them below Battle Mountain, Nevada, and do alfalfa seed. And then when we'd get, about the time we got done there, the ones in eastern Idaho were getting done. Either I was running them down there or Dad was, vice versa. And then we'd load them back up on trucks and haul them back here, and then we'd put 2 or 3 of them in the corn and run sometimes clear into December, combining corn. So it was a pretty long season doing that much custom work with machines. We'd put up to 800 hours a year on them through the summer, and by fall we had that many hours on them. And the late 80s, we started farming here in Emmett, Idaho, and did that along with our custom work. And the more we farmed, the more we got into that, but we still did our custom work and did all our own crops. Ag is a different kind of way of make a living. It's a lot of work, but it's a very enjoyable thing for your family to grow up in. And I never ever had regrets of doing it. It was just working with my father all those years. It's been a very enjoyable thing to do.
I've always enjoyed running one of them. I just couldn't hardly wait for the next harvest to start. And then when we got into the corn, we had a lot of fun doing corn, chasing the deer around and shoot a pheasant once in a while. It was a lot of fun. I'll have to say this about him: he was a real partner, really, to work with all those years. I've just been real proud of the fact that he and I got to farm and run combines and stuff together for over 40 years, and it's been quite a journey.
Well, I'm just really glad to see my boys and grandson getting into this ag thing. It's a very challenging thing to do nowadays with the cost of everything, but you know, hopefully things will continue where they can, you know, make a living at it.
Costs more to put a tire on one of those combines now than we paid for the first one.
To start out, when Clint was a little boy, you could tell that he was totally interested in farm equipment and always wanted to be there helping run stuff and learn about things. And all through high school, if he wasn't in school, he was out running equipment and helping farm. And you know, he was out working, making money, you know, wages and stuff as a young boy. And it was real fun having him there that young. He was totally interested in it, and it was very enjoyable having him that young there, just like I was with my dad. Oh, what were you, Clint?
10.
Yeah, actually very young. That was when we were starting to farm. I was up here baling hay and busy, so Dad had Clint out at Orchard doing dryland grain when he was 10, 12 years old, running one of those machines from daylight to dark. At that age, actually younger than I did, and he was a natural at it, running equipment.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. I paid cash for my first four-wheeler when I was 13, and I digged it. I liked making money, and I think I turned 12 years old at midnight out at Orchard in the combine. It always enjoyed running them. And
there's some farms over there in Parma that we've cut grain on over there for certain guys. And we've had only our machines on that place for the last over 50 years on some of those guys' farms over there. We've cut for them that many years in a row. It's kind of amazing to pull in on those farms and think back when I was a little tiny kid. I was riding on there with my dad, and Clint and Connor are doing those same fields over there that we did clear back then.
From when he was in a car seat till now, he just always wanted to go. When he was a young boy, you know, 3 years old or so like that, he never really had daycare or nothing like that, and he just always had interest in riding in the tractors or trucks, whether I was hauling grain or corn or anything like that. He'd either sleep on the floor or in the chair or ride with me the entire time, just day in, day out, wanted to go.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever. As a little kid, I wanted nothing more than to just go hang out with my dad and grandpa farming every day. And that's all I wanted to do was run equipment, run tractors, combines, you name it, I wanted to run it, and that's all I wanted to do from when I was as long as I can remember. I was 8 or 9 years old. We were just up over here on South Slope, and I got in the combine with my grandpa, and he makes one round with me and shows me how to work everything. And then he stops and gets out and he's like, cut the rest of the field. And then the next pass, I almost combined up a T-post that he didn't tell me about. And I think that's why I remember it so much. I can remember being so scared thinking I'd broke something, and then ever since then, I've ran them ever since. It's definitely work. Like, you know, there's days when it sucks, because farming's not all just running equipment. Like all winter you work on equipment, and then all spring and summer you're irrigating. And if you have issues with that kind of stuff, and the equipment's the cool stuff, that's like your reward, so that's fun. But I definitely don't think you can be involved in agriculture if you don't love it, if you don't have a passion for doing it. I think it's just something, I look at it and my whole family's done it, you know, clear back to my great-great-grandpa, and I think that aspect of it's cool, and then it's just in your blood. That's what I was born and raised doing, and there's just nothing else I could really see myself doing.
My grandson that's helping Clint, he showed me a combine online, an old 95 for sale in La Grande, Oregon. And I got to thinking, I started something that I wondered if I should have. And I went over there and talked to the guy, and I decided to buy that combine from him. Well, I loaded it up and hauled it home. I bought it from him, and I got to thinking, well, my dad turned 95 this year, and that's a 95 combine that he started me out on. So I'm just gonna put it with Clint's big combine in the same field and have my other son take drone videos of us flying around those two combines cutting together. And I thought it was kind of unique, him being 95 and running an old 95 again. And it was an enjoyable thing to do.
Well, I think the kids all earned good work ethics as they were growing up and seeing what their grandpa and their dad and everybody did as a family together, and what hard work pays off.
I've got all my kids, and, you know, it's kind of all hands on deck, everybody helping during harvest and stuff. I make Dad come out of retirement and run the combine while we scatter everywhere doing everything else, and we're just been able to keep it working.
I think the gals probably work harder than the men because their job's never done. They're out there, they're doing the laundry, they're doing the cooking, they're running the parts.
It really makes me proud to see all of them working together like my son and I and my dad and I. Well, I'm really proud of the fact that they're still doing it. I just hope that this way things are, that they can keep going on doing it. It's a tough life, but it's a good life.